Welcome to Whoa 120. Today we're counting down the top 10 most dangerous cities in Canada in 2024. Canada is often regarded as one of the safest countries in the world, but like any other nation, it has its share of crime and violence. From homicides to thefts, and from gang crimes to domestic violence, some cities in Canada experience higher rates of crime than others. In this video, we'll take a closer look at the top 10 most dangerous cities in Canada, based on the latest crime statistics and data. We'll explore the reasons behind the high crime rates in these cities and what's being done to address the issues. Whether you're a Canadian resident, a tourist, or simply someone interested in learning more about crime and safety in Canada, this video is for you. By sending you all this message, we hope that you may come to Europe and stop here. So, let's get started and find out which cities made the list. Please note that crime rates can fluctuate over time, and the rankings may vary depending on the source and methodology used. 10. Abbotsford, British Columbia. Crime rate. Abbotsford, a city in British Columbia, has seen rising crime rates, particularly in violent crime and drug offenses. Factors contributing to crime: drug trafficking and gang violence, economic struggles in lower impulse neighborhoods, the rise of the opioid crisis, recent trends of lack of access. Abbotsford has faced an increase in gun violence and organized crime due to its proximity to Vancouver. Efforts are being made to combat these trends through law enforcement collaboration with neighboring cities. 9. St. John, New Brunswick. Crime rate. St. John is one of the more dangerous cities in Atlantic Canada, with high rates of property crime and drug offenses. Factors contributing to crime: a high level of substance abuse, including the opioid crisis, poverty and high unemployment in certain parts of the city, gangs and organized crime. Recent trends: St. John is experiencing growing concerns over substance abuse, which has contributed to an increase in violent and property crimes. Law enforcement is addressing these issues through community support and drug prevention programs. 8. Halifax, Nova Scotia. Crime rate. Although Halifax's crime rates have historically been lower than other Canadian cities, recent data suggests an increase in violent crimes, particularly in property crimes like theft, break-ins, and car thefts. Factors contributing to crime issues with youth violence and gang activities. Economic disparity leading to increased crime in certain neighborhoods. Drug addiction problems, particularly with opioids. Recent trends: while Halifax has been safer than some other cities, the rise in gang violence and opioid crime is becoming more noticeable. Police and community organizations are working to combat these trends. 7. Saskatoon, Saskatchewan. Crime rate. Saskatoon has one of the highest crime rates in Canada, particularly for violent crime. The city has struggled with gang activity and incidents of robbery, assault, and auto theft. Factors contributing to crime: high levels of poverty, particularly in Indigenous communities, substance abuse, particularly related to alcohol and methamphetamine, gang violence, and organized crime. Recent trends: the city is focusing on reducing gang violence and providing better social services to vulnerable populations, but the crime rate remains high. 6. Montreal, Quebec. Crime rate. Montreal has seen an uptick in gang violence and gun crime in recent years, particularly in specific neighborhoods. While violent crime rates are still lower than many other cities, it has become a more significant issue. Factors contributing to crime: organized crime and drug trafficking, with some criminal groups being linked to international cartels, poverty in certain neighborhoods that drives individuals to commit property crimes, increased gun violence in recent years. Recent trends: Montreal's police have been working to reduce gang violence and organized crime through intelligence-led policing. However, the issue of gun violence and drug trafficking remains a concern. 5. Edmonton, Alberta. Crime rate. Edmonton, Alberta's capital, experiences high rates of violent crime, particularly in neighborhoods like downtown and North Edmonton. Drug crime and gang activity have also contributed to its ranking. Factors contributing to crime: high levels of poverty and homelessness. The city has seen an increase in gang violence, particularly tied to drug trafficking. Drug abuse, including opioids, contributes to violent outbursts and property crimes. Recent trends: Edmonton has been working to curb rising crime rates by focusing on community-based crime prevention, but gang violence and domestic violence remain significant issues. Or Regina, Saskatchewan, crime rate. Regina, the capital of Saskatchewan, has one of the highest crime rates in Canada, especially in violent crime and property crime. It ranks among the cities with the most frequent violent offenses per capita. Factors contributing to crime: poverty and high unemployment rates, drug abuse, especially methamphetamine, which has fueled violent crimes, gangs and organized criminal activity. Recent trends: Regina has been dealing with gang violence, property theft, and violent crimes like assaults. Local authorities are working on reducing these issues through social programs and enhanced policing. 3. Toronto, Ontario crime rate. While Toronto is one of Canada's largest cities, it has seen a rise in violent crime in recent years. Though still relatively safe compared to many North American cities, areas like Scarborough and certain parts of downtown Toronto have higher crime rates, particularly related to drug trafficking and turf wars. Rising incidents of gun violence, often related to gang disputes, economic disparities, and youth disenfranchisement. Recent trends: Toronto has experienced an uptick in gun violence in recent years, particularly among young adults. The city continues to battle these issues with community outreach programs, but crime persists in certain pockets. 2. Vancouver, British Columbia. Crime rate. Vancouver is known for having high crime rates, especially in property crimes such as theft, burglary, and car theft. It also faces a higher incidence of drug crimes. Factors contributing to crime: significant drug addiction issues, particularly in the downtown east side, an area known for its struggles with the opioid crisis, homelessness, and mental health issues, high living costs, which can lead to social unrest and financial crimes. Recent trends: Vancouver's property crime rate has remained high due to a high cost of living, while gang crimes have increased. The city is making efforts through community policing and support systems for addiction and homelessness, but crime remains a challenge. 1. Winnipeg, Manitoba. Crime rate. Winnipeg consistently ranks as one of the most dangerous cities in Canada. In 2024, it continues to have a high crime rate, particularly for violent crimes such as aggravated assault, robbery, and property crime. Factors contributing to crime: poverty in certain areas of the city, gangs and organized crime, high levels of alcohol and drug abuse, economic struggles faced by residents, particularly in lower-income neighborhoods. Recent trends: although efforts have been made to reduce crime, such as community programs and law enforcement initiatives, Winnipeg struggles with gang violence and violent crime, making it one of the highest-risk cities for residents and visitors.